Hey guys, so in this video we won't be doing any training patterns. What we'll be talking about is how we want to move in the back of the court. And we've really got sort of two sorts of movement that we're going to call assertive movement and passive movement.
So what do we mean by when we say assertive and passive? Well, if we look at the picture on the video now, where the blue dot represents our mid-court position, an assertive movement stereotypically would head to the corner of the service box, but really it can sort of look to intercept along that line here. Passive movement looks to traditionally move or float towards the back wall, such as the path being shown on this picture. It's important to remember that in an assertive movement pattern, we're looking to try and intercept or take that ball early and take time away from our opponents. But this doesn't preclude us having to change our path and head into those back corners to retrieve if we need to, as the picture shows here.
So that brings us to the point on which movement path is better, assertive or passive? And it's a trick question because we want to use the appropriate movement path for the appropriate shot that our opponent hits.
And that can be the difficult thing when talking about movement paths into the back court. What constitutes, how you move in response to your opponent's shot. As a rough guide, we look to generally move assertively when we're playing straight, straight rally up the wall, where we want to put ourselves in a position to take that ball early and be comfortable in doing that, to take time away from our opponents. And we want to generally move passively in response to a shot that's been overhit or in response to a cross court that's forced us into the deep court.
So next I'm going to play you a clip of what would look to be a typical rally at the highest level of the game. It's a rally between Ali Farag and Paul Cole, and I want you to take note of when they move assertively and when they choose to move more passively by floating at that back wall.
So as we can see already, like the first 10 movement paths in this rally are all being assertive. The passive movements here are in response to the cross courts.
In the first game, Ali Farag will be well aware of the 227-minute duration for Paul Cole, match time on court. Some early work into those legs of his.
And again, we're all looking to intercept at that top corner of the service box. Again, Ali moving passively in response to the cross courts. So just for a quick tally on that rally, guys, I counted 38 shots that passed the half court line. Of those 38 shots, I counted 31 that used an assertive movement path, looking to intercept on that service box line. The remaining 7 moves were passively towards that back wall, that back diagonal path in response to cross courts. Which means that out of that rally, 82% of the backcourt movement was assertive. That's not to say that that type of rally will be super atypical with that higher percentage every rally, but that type of movement is pretty typical of what you tend to see in most straight rallies at the highest level of the game.
So again, neither movement pattern is wrong or right. We use the appropriate movement path dictated by the type of shot our opponent hits. Where I tend to go is As a default movement pattern, I tend to coach moving assertively, because as we can see in the rally that we just watched between Ali and Paul, 3/4, 60% of our shots are gonna be in that assertive place. Why I tend to avoid teaching passive movement as the default movement is passive can give away too much of that court that we don't want to give away for free, and humans are instinctively lazy, and moving passively towards that back wall comes naturally. Training to move assertively is the hard part. So I tend to coach training assertively as the default, and then we apply the more passive movements as we need. Catch you next time, guys.